So today I'm just gonna tell you a story, and I honestly just want you to listen. So you can tell me what you think about it later on or down below, but for right now, just listen. You are now a legal adult. You think it's time for you to grow up a bit, so you decide to get a job. You decide to go live on your own, and you even decide to go to university. Things aren't perfect, but you're living your best life, you know? You're independent, you can decide for yourself now, you can make your own decisions. You are put into a now tragedy, and you start to hit a ton of brick walls in your life. First, here's some backstory for you. Both of your parents are dead, which explains a little bit of why you're so independent. But by now, you've gotten over it and you're moving past that. Your next hurdle or your next tragedy is your only family member remaining dies. Her and her husband just die. Having your sister and her husband die in a plane accident. I know, it's terrible. It's sudden. Everything was just clicking. You're bringing up the pieces that were left behind, and you're starting your own chapter. But it happened so quickly after having such a great outing with their family, leaving behind their daughters. And now I think it's a good time to mention what anime I'm talking about for this video. It's called Listen to Me Girls, I'm Your Father. Now honestly, this anime has a more lighter and comedic kind of approach to this darker and more heartbreaking of a topic. And they honestly could have portrayed this a lot more dramatically than what they did. The main characters have it pretty rough, with the main lead Yuta having his childhood ripped away from him, now getting his young adult life taken away from him too. You see, the daughters that they left behind were going to get separated, with some going to academies designed for children like them, and the young ones going with relatives that could take care of them. But like Yuta's sister, Yuta tried to fight for them, to try and stay together as a family, making the only decision he could think of at the time, essentially becoming their second father. But you know, it's hard. It was hard enough barely managing himself and getting by, and now he's asked to feed 3 extra mouths and think about sheltering them, transporting them to school, events, food, clothing, and all the things that come with being a parent to children. I know parents can speak on this a lot better than what I could do, but I know this is very difficult. It's a whole other challenge. This probably would be the most challenging thing you decide to take on in your life. And I understand he wants them to stay together, but to be honest, it's a very dumb and foolish decision just looking at it. Luckily, he has friends to help him out, but that doesn't change that it was just very rash and just quick, and it was dumb. It was arrogant. It was so many things. I felt so many things when he actually did decide to take on the responsibility to be their guardian. And yes, I was happy that they got to stay together as a family, but I knew it wouldn't be easy at all for him going forward. Nothing would be easy for him going forward. Since I've already mentioned the story, let's go right into the characters. So I've already talked a lot about Yuta. Really, there doesn't need to be that much more into his character. But let's first start with Hina. She's age 3, she's the youngest of all 3 of the sisters, she's in preschool, and she doesn't really understand what it means for her parents to be gone. When I remember when it first started to happen, she was like, so when are they gonna come back? And no one could break down exactly that, hey, they're dead, they can't come back. And I remember that was just very hard and difficult for everyone to try and break that down to her, trying to explain to her that this is her home now. Next is Sora, the one who's the oldest, who's in middle school, and who also has a crush on Yuta. And really, the anime wasn't exactly pushing right away for it to be Yuta and Sora ending up together. And honestly, I hate even when they had the OVA episode about what happens after all of them grow up, basically, when Yuta becomes really an actual adult. When they become adults, I honestly hated it. Miu's the one who's in the middle, 5th grade elementary school student, who's kind of more memorable just because of her different approach than the other 2 sisters. She's, of course, I guess the bravest one out of all of them, if you want to call it like that. And then Ryuka. Ryuka's the one in university where essentially she's the children's mother, or stepmother, if you will. A lot of times she's filling in for Yuta when he's not there, either taking them to school, and I really do mean like the youngest one, or just basically cooking dinner for them. She's the stand-in mother for the children. She doesn't show any emotion, and she really gives it to everyone very straight and forward. She's also very forward with her body as well, as you see in the anime. And really I'll mention lastly, Nomura. Nomura really is an interesting character that really does fit the mold of the rest of the characters. He sees the situation very clearly, and he's trying to best help by really talking to the girls when Yuta's not around to really help push them in where they need to be. Not really forcing them to make decisions here and there, but really just helping the situation as he sees it. A lot of times he would either be stopping them when they're about to do something stupid, or just get into a situation where he needs to put in an input to best help the girls figure out what they want to do. And lastly, I guess I have to mention this character, Sako, only because of this. Literally, they put in a freaking pedo in the anime. Like, let's just call it what it is. This character is a pedo. He's obsessed with little girls, and if Yuta was not around, dear Lord, I don't know what would happen to these small children. No one leave their small child with this man, alright? I'm just making this clear. I don't even know why he's here like this. Like this is the kind of person that wouldn't apologize for it either. Like, I just, why is he here? Like, I'm glad that freaking the mother character was able to stop him over and over again, but like, my God, why? I didn't understand this character at all being here. Setting, I can hope you can understand that it's taking place near university, near schools. So here are my final thoughts about the anime. The characters have it pretty tough, like I already said numerous times in this video. All of them are basically just dealing with a little bit of hurt or feeling a loneliness because of their parents not being there. I would mainly give that to Miyu, who definitely feels that loneliness of always being there, having to do their homework at different times than other students, very feeling alone. Hina coming to realization that mommy and daddy won't be there anymore. Sora trying to just balance this feeling of love for her uncle, but at the same time feeling of hurt by not having the same thing that Ryuka had. Honestly, she had a way different experience with her parents not being there than both Hina and Miyu. Yuta having to balance his old job, club activities, university, school, and then having a big obstacle of being kicked out of his apartment and having to go to a new apartment and having to get more money to pay for the apartment, and really just a lot of stress in general. Luckily, they had friends and people behind them to really support them and help them. Real supporting characters, you know? But as I guess final thoughts for the anime in general, I would say is good. I personally just know I wouldn't watch it again. Like, I don't think I would watch it again. Now, if I were to rate this anime, I'd probably say I would still probably give it a 3 out of 5. That helps you. That's a 60%. I know it's ranked pretty high or received pretty well, but honestly, if I'm not gonna watch it again, I'd probably just give it a 3 out of 5 and just say it's an okay anime, just not something I would watch again if I was doing a rating scale, but I usually don't. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Comment below, like, subscribe, all the good stuff. Tell me if you're actually watching this anime right now, if you're gonna plan on watching this anime. Hey, tell me if I'm wrong about how I view this anime.